The second in a series of Ice Out North Dakota protests taking place in Fargo tonight. I've got a preview as I'll be live downtown and let you know how you can get involved.
Coming up on Valley News Now, activists nationwide are calling for an economic blackout tomorrow. We'll explain what that is and who's participating. Plus, a four-legged friend becoming a therapist at a local clinic. We'll talk all about it on Valley News Now.
And thank you very much for joining us on Valley News Now. Duke Schindler here, joining on this Thursday afternoon right before the 4. I'm going to be having to do this quick here. But we'll start it off with the nationwide economic blackout. Now, we're going to tell you just a little bit more about this, but activists nationwide are calling for an economic blackout this coming Friday, so tomorrow, January 30th. Now, this is an expansion of Minnesota's Ice Out protests that were held last week, as local companies are also joining the movement, even here around the FM area. In Moorhead, Swing Barrel Brewing will close its doors this Friday, as well as Atomic Coffee and Revolver clothing store in downtown Fargo. They will also be closing their doors. And then we'll head a little bit north to Grand Forks, as child abuse and neglect charges have been filed against a Grand Forks couple. We'll bring up the mugshots here. Nicholas James and Tashnina Martel are accused in this case, as police, they were conducting an eviction on December 31st when they found 3 adults and 4 children living in the home. Now, while children appeared clean at the time, officers did say dirty pots and pans were on the stove, as the kitchen sink was also backed up with standing water, as well as garbage, old food, and clothing. They were scattered throughout, making it hard to walk. Quite the story there, as we're going to take things out here to our very own Summer Schnellbach now, who has a look at what we're looking at here for the weather. Summer.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Summer Schnellbach, and it is still cold out there. In fact, a little bit of a frigid fun fact for you. We have had a cold weather advisory or an extreme cold warning somewhere within our viewing area every single day since January 17th, except for today. That's very short-lived, though, because there has been another one issued by the National Weather Service for almost our entire viewing area. That begins at midnight tonight and continues into tomorrow morning for wind chills as low as 40 below zero. So we're not out of this deep freeze yet. The worst of the worst is behind us from last weekend, but it's still cold into this weekend. Highs for our Friday are only going to be single digits either side of zero. And heading into the weekend, Saturday morning is going to be once again in the teens below zero, likely another cold weather advisory, as wind starts to increase and snow moves in. Saturday is a first alert weather day, as is Sunday, for snow, which could accumulate a couple of inches, and gusty winds, initially out of the south, and then on Sunday turning northwesterly, gusting over 30 miles per hour, leading to some blowing snow and visibility issues potentially. And temperatures, they're looking better this weekend, a high of 17 Saturday, into the 20s on Sunday. A brief cool down behind that again on Monday, but then from there, we're back into the 20s, and there's even a couple of low 30s in the extended forecast. You won't want to miss it. Join us tonight on Valley News Live.
And thank you very much, Summer. Now into Minnesota, Barnes County North School District is asking for voters to approve a tax increase, and about 80 people did attend a community meeting last night to discuss this proposal. The district wants to increase general fund levy by $20 million over the next 8 years, as Superintendent Andrew Curry says. The increase is needed to maintain current educational programs, staff, as well as services.
We are going to have a lot of students and families that are going to take off and go someplace else, and all those things could then possibly lead up to very worst case scenario that at some point BCN would have to dissolve.
Now voters will decide on June 9th, and 55% of voter approval is needed for the measure to pass, and 2 more informational meetings are scheduled for next month. And then North Dakota Governor Kelly Armstrong is launching a new plan to boost wildlife. He spoke with our partners at Flag Family Media about a pilot project to create more habitat for deer as well as pheasants. Armstrong says more habitat is crucial for increasing wildlife populations, and the initiative is funded by the state's Outdoor Heritage Fund, receiving up to $40 million from oil and tax revenue.
So I really believe, and I think this helps our workforce, I think it helps our way of life. As somebody who has spent my entire life trying to get the next generation of kids into experiencing the outdoors, I think it's something uniquely North Dakotan, and I think we have some unique structural challenges, one of them being we don't have a lot of public land.
If successful, the goal is to expand it statewide, targeting 500,000 acres of new habitat. And then coming up on Valley News Live here tonight, we got a couple reporters out in the field, including our very own Jessica Bringy, who's bringing us the latest to an ICE protest.
Duke, tonight it's the second in a series of ICE in North Dakota protests. We do know, of course, most of ICE Immigration Custom Enforcement operations have been centered right here in Minneapolis, Twin Cities bleeding into St. Paul. However, protests against those operations have been erupting across both North Dakota and Minnesota. Tonight, we're seeing that second in a series of protests, this one taking place at Parachigo. That is located on 14th 8th Street in Fargo, downtown. The event will start at 7, but doors open at 6:30. I will be live at 6 ahead of doors opening to have a live look and preview of what we can expect at this event. There will be a number of musicians, we know that, and donations are also being accepted. That is to collect money, all those proceeds then going to anti-ICE operations, both in North Dakota and Minnesota. Then looking ahead to tomorrow, we also are seeing local businesses, both in Moorhead and Fargo, taking part in an economic blackout. So at least 8 businesses are closing. You can find details of all 8 of those businesses on our website, and we're constantly adding to them as we do get more information. But stay with us, because tonight at 6, we will be live at the second in a series of ICE Out North Dakota events. Duke, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. And that's going to do it here on the desk. I got to bolt to the other desk here for our 4 p.m. show, but thank you very much for joining us here on Valley News Now for Duke Schindler. We'll catch you in about 2 minutes.